Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fire and Grit. And we are here with both Team Fire and Team Guts and Grace. It's month's end. I know everybody's scrambling to get to our call, closing people, helping people share the wonderful deals we have going on. You guys, the free reset deal with the triplex and trim that only goes for another day. Also, double bonuses. My mind was blown all over today when I think she's on here. Kristen Mastrolia was messaging me, and we were looking at the numbers of what people can earn, like just starting out, just sharing for the first time. You guys, let's get our VIPs that first customer of theirs. Hey, it might be a spouse, it might be their mom, it might be their bestie, but it is a lovely way for them to get their friends a great package and also to bring in some pretty hefty cash. We're looking at $50, $60, $70 for just bringing on that first person this month. It's out of control. So do not stop. No matter where your points are at or how you're feeling, those emotions, man, they go up and down with all that we face in this business. The more no's you're getting, I just want to give you some high fives. If you've gotten ghosted, oh, me too, right? Yeah, see Jenna, Brenda, they're like, yeah, high five, high five. We keep going. We do. Find those people and show yourself, get your face out there so they can find you. Do you believe people are looking for you? People are looking, even if it's subconsciously, for people to help them financially, subconsciously. I know I had been praying and praying with my husband for an answer because I was like, we can't stay in the military forever. I got to get my man out. Boy, I wish there was a way to do that. I was always open. My ears were perked. So you know what? It ended up being Plexus. And because my friend added me to Brenda Martin's team page and Team Fire, and she was shouting out these darling mamas that I was like, oh, she's adorable. Oh, she seems just your average cute mama. Maybe I could do this too. All of that was going in, you guys. So you have something special. Do not give up. Shine bright. And I'm going to hush so we can get to Jenna Huttula. Is that how I say your last name? Oh, good, because that's how I've almost said it.
I don't want to hear her say it the official way then, please.
You're so funny. So years ago, whenever I would do anything, people would be like, it would be Huttula.
Oh.
And the backstory is my husband actually got recruited to a school in Hawaii because they thought he was Hawaiian. And then they got his stats and he's like 5'6", a little white guy from Florida, not who they thought that they were getting, like not who they were going to recruit to be on their football team. So it's Finnish from Scandinavia and it's Huttula. So, and the way that Kyle Rainey is, he teases a little bit, but he's like, how he remembers is with his shoulders. So if you ever see him do Huttula, that's how he remembers. It's Huttula. Huttula.
That's what we shall do.
I've been schooled for 30 years almost by my in-laws on how to say it proper. So today I say it the Finnish way.
I love it. We are so happy to have you. Brenda, did you want to say anything?
No, I'm just glad she did that because that's just great entertainment. But yes, I agree with all of the end of month. I'm literally helping a customer right here, right now. That's why I'm distracted. She had a little bit of issues. She was understanding something, so I really wanted to help her there. But yes, we're all in this. We're all doing this, but cannot wait to hear from Jenna. Go ahead.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. Bridget, I'm going to take over. I hope you have a pen and paper tonight. That's one of the things that I just encourage you to do. If you ever get on a call with me, it's grab your pen and paper. My hope and my prayer is that God uses me and says something brilliant. Because if you come back later and ask me, I probably won't remember. But I actually did take notes tonight because this is like Brenda Martin's going to be on this call. So I'm like, I got to have some notes. So I wanted to come prepared and make sure that your mic is muted just because my ADD will kick in and I will totally go off track. We'll go down some rabbit hole.
Yes,
Okay?
I'm in here. Yes.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk to you about how momentum is your best friend. And I can tell you honestly, in 5 years of building a business, momentum has been my best friend. When I came in merely for the products in December 2019. I was super skeptical. I was super sick. I did not fully think that the actual products would work for me. I was in that camp where I'm like, I was trying everything And when you run into somebody who's like, I'm super clean, I'm organic, I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free, I'm nightshade-free, I outer edges of the grocery store, I spend hundreds of dollars on supplements already every month. That was me. But I was also spending hundreds of dollars on medical bills too, because what I was doing wasn't actually treating the root cause, which we know Plexus does. So I had a dear friend that I love and I know and I trust. She started sharing about the products and I was intrigued, but I was still skeptical. So she was super brave and reached out and invited me. So there's so much power in that invitation. I was seeing her posts, but I was that friend that would love every single other post except the Plexus ones. I'd be like, oh, how are the babies? I see you got more chickens. But the Plexus post, I'd be like, I would read it, but I would not comment. Then she reached out and she's like, listen, I know where you're at because I'd taken my wig off on social media. I was so sick. I'd lost all of my hair. And it was in retaliation for some jerky people because there's a bunch of jerks out there on social media. They want to try to like tell you what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, or they think they know what's going on in your world. But in reality, they have no idea. So I was being called out for being really vain because I was changing my hairstyle so much. I was like, listen here, heifer. I like took off my wig. I'm like, this is why, because I'm bald and I'm just trying to mask feeling better. But I wasn't. What I was doing wasn't working. And so when I got introduced to Plexus, not for the first time, not for the second time, not for the third time, was 4 times. See, I knew about Plexus for 4 years. But it wasn't until somebody that I know and I love and I trust didn't send me a hey girl message. She didn't just try to like come out the gate. She was like, I love you. And I found something that I think is going to change your life. And she was right. So I started for the products. My husband told me I'm not allowed to work the business. So if you have a husband that is anything like my husband, he was like, you can try the products. If they don't work, get your money back, but you're not allowed to work the business. See, I had worked in network marketing 20 something years ago, had huge success, loved the opportunity, loved the business. I sucked at time management, personal growth, and leadership in full transparency. So it wasn't that network marketing didn't work. It was that I wasn't working my business proper. And so for years, I just kind of like, I love that, but I don't know that I could do that. But then I saw her. She was having success with the products and the business. And all of a sudden, when you're consistent on your products, everything starts to change and you can't hide what's going on the inside anymore. People started noticing when I didn't wear my wig to church. And so that started my journey to sharing. Out of conviction, I shared and I continue to share today because there are men and women around the world that are praying for an answer to their health and their finances. And we have that for both of them. So if we are not brave enough, bold enough, courageous enough to share authentically as ourselves, because there is, BK's right, there's people out there waiting for you. They're going to connect, they're going to relate, they're going to understand you. They're actually waiting for you to invite them because they're not sure they're allowed to come to your party yet. It's like having a baby shower announcement and you post it all over social. And then like your best friend 2 doors down the street, she doesn't come. She's like, well, I didn't really know if that was for me or not. Like, and this literally just happened to me tonight. My friend had a 60th birthday 3 weeks ago. I didn't get an invitation. I thought I was going to get an invitation, but I didn't get an invitation. And then I didn't want to like message her and be like, girl, I'm going to bust out your party. So I didn't go. She messaged me tonight. She's like, I just realized with my daughter-in-law, you never got the invitation. I thought she sent it. She thought I sent it. I'm heartbroken that you couldn't be at my birthday party. And I'm like, girl, I'm so sorry. I should have just put my big girl panties on and messaged you and said, I'm coming to your party. But I didn't want to offend and I didn't want to really ask. And I wasn't sure if it was family only. So not only did we both miss out, I missed out on one of my favorite women's 60th birthdays. We're going to make up for it. But also she's like, she's heartbroken because we didn't get to attend her big birthday party. So power is in the invitation. People are waiting for you. So that momentum kicked off because people followed along in my authentic transformation. I just shared. I was not a perfect. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have all the answers for everybody, but I knew where to go, what to find, and who to ask. That was it. And so I just shared. And along sharing, I shared everything without judgment. Some would, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So I want to talk to you tonight about what momentum looks like, because it can be your best friend. So I'm going to talk out of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of John Maxwell. If you have not read that, it is fantastic. Okay. So I have some questions for you too. So as I go through, I'm going to pause and allow you to write the questions down. Now, as somebody who has the gift of gab, I do believe it should be a spiritual gift. It's somewhere in the Bible. I just haven't found it yet. So it should be. It's going to be an effort on my part to like slow down a second and allow you to catch up. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. All right. So I want to talk about a couple of things when you have momentum. Momentum is just the great expander. It accelerates things and it just spreads light on things. That could be good things and that could be bad things. But we're going to talk about the good things and how to create momentum. So either you're in momentum, you're trying to create momentum, or you might be even in a season of rest or in a stable season. We're not going to say stuck, because you're not stuck. You're stable. And you're in a growing season. You're in the sowing season. You're planting the seeds that you're going to reap harvests for later on down the road. Okay? We just planted in our front yard. We painted the house. We did the white house with the black trim. Like I finally got what I wanted, purple flowers out front. Well, see, in the past, I spoke negativity over every green thing I planted in the ground. So I was a plant killer. I couldn't keep anything alive. I had a black thumb. Well, we just spent a couple $100 on these plants. I was like, I rebuke it in Jesus' name. I am a prosperer. Anything I put in the ground grows. It's beautiful. It's abundant. It's going to be beautiful. So I'm speaking life to these plants every day. Every time we walk out of my house, I'm like loving on my plants. I'm talking positive to them. My kids are making fun of me. They come up behind me and they're like, you're ugly. You're going to die. She's going to kill you. She's going to forget to water you. This is the reality of it. Everything that I touch that's my level, my depth, is growing and prosperous. Down there, there's one little plant. There's one little plant that's not going to make it. And I'm like, y'all need to stop talking negativity to that plant. You need to speak life, because you have power over what you speak. And it is so silly to think like these plants in that aspect, but there is a vivid illustration. So that momentum is something that you can actually create. So I want to talk to you about the 3 P's. So there are 3 P's to creating momentum in your business. And I want you to think of 2. Have you ever thought about momentum as a mindset? It's something that you can actually create and manifest in you. And it's not an external stimulus. It doesn't come from the outside, from somebody else doing something for you. You have amazing leaders. They absolutely love you and adore you and want the very best for you. And they have amazing systems in place. And they have so much wisdom about retention and duplication and follow-up and what to say and how to say it and the products and the app. There's so much stuff out there for you. But it doesn't do any good if you yourself don't own your own business. If you don't pick up the tools and use them for yourself, because we can want it for you all day long. But if you have the tools and just refuse to pick them up for whatever reason, then you will stay in that season where you're constantly feeling like you're just maybe not where you want to be yet. But the good news is you don't have to stay there. It's a choice. President Bush said a long time ago, he's like, I'm the decider. You are the decider. You get to decide where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and what it's going to look like. Now, how fast or how slow? I wish I could tell you that's like, oh yeah, you do this, this, and this, you'll be there in 20 minutes. It's not like Google Maps, okay? There is a process. So there's 3 P's. It's passion plus persistence plus progress that actually equals momentum. So I'm going to say that again. It's passion plus persistence plus progress that equals momentum. So what is passion and why I have that? Well, passion actually is the thing that gives us energy. It's the question of why are we doing what we're doing? And then what are we doing it for? And I want to challenge you that if you don't have that defining drive yet, if you don't have a really crystal clear vision on what it is that you want, did you know that most people, 85% of people, will never get what they actually want in life based solely on the fact that they don't actually know what they want? That's it. Like, those that figure out what they actually want, there's such a high rate of achievement because they figured it out. And then they map it out. And at that point, everything's figure outable. And they learn to do the things that they need to do in order to accomplish the goals that they want to accomplish. So it gives you the energy that you're going to need. So get crystal clear on what it is that you actually want. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. This is your message. God did not put you in a three-way message or a text group chat and tell everybody all the goals and visions and things he had for your life. It was a one-on-one private message that he downloaded to you for you. Les Brown says, is it so perfect? And it's one of my favorites, is that God will never deliver your mail to somebody else's address. I love that. My husband's a mailman. So I'm like, you need to get the message, babe, because when you deliver somebody else's mail to somebody else's address, it crosses wires. See, God won't do that. He has a plan for you. And the plans are for you to prosper and not perish, plans to give you hope and an amazing future. But sometimes we don't actually believe that, right? We hold on to things from our past that just kind of turn into, we talked about this. I see Brenda, she's on our book club call for Worthy. High five, friend. And we've been working through this, that worthiness of feeling like you are actually worthy of the things that are in place for you. Because if you don't feel like you're worthy of it, then you're probably not going to go and do the things it's going to take to get there. So it's peeling back the onion peel layers of so many things along the way. So that fire from it within us is what's going to exude out of us. And that creates the law of attraction, which is so much fun. Because then you start attracting who you want and who you are because it's who you are. So you're going to attract the person that you want to have on your team because you yourself are that person. So instead of waiting for somebody else to come along and be your rock star, that quote unquote, you be your own rock star. If you want to have success on your teams, you set the tone and the pace. You set where you're going. You have a clear vision of what it is, how you're going to get there, and then go to work and show them and keep it super simple. It's not overcomplicated what we get to do. And that's the mindset. We don't have to do anything in Plexus. We get to in Plexus. We get to share products that are life-changing. We get to share about the possibilities of financial flexibility and income and the freedom that comes along with that. You don't have to, by all means, you don't have to do anything. Our goal as leaders is to motivate and inspire and encourage and educate others on what is available. But we ourselves walk it out. And as you walk it out, it sets the tone for your entire team. So your personal activities daily of what that impact producing activity is going to look like, that's going to fuel your own fire. And when it fuels your fire, Krista Deary says, whenever there's a fire in the basement, it feeds the whole house. Now I live in Florida, we don't have basements. So it took me a minute to figure out this analogy, but think about it. If there's a warm something in the bottom, it's going to fuel the whole home. It's going to heat up the whole house. But you can attract that. You can create and build that yourself. That second P is for persistence. Now, this is the thing, is that we can't get anywhere overnight. We didn't walk into the woods in 20 miles and hope and pray and expect to get out in 2. That's with our health journey. That's with the business. That's with life. That's with marriage. That's with relationship building. It takes work and intentionality and time. But the really fun part of this is that work is not wasted. It just stores up and it compounds over time. So it might feel like there are seasons of your business where you're grossly underpaid for the amount of work and time and effort. It feels like you're doing everything and you're grossly underpaid. Right? Anybody else ever feel like that? Or you might feel like that right now. But this is what I want to tell you, which happens, and it is so fun, that will swing. the pendulum will swing over to where you are grossly overpaid for the amount of time, work, and effort that you put into it. Because now you're investing in others. So you're not taking on all the heavy lifting by yourself. At first, you're pushing that boulder up the mountain on your own. You are, because you're getting started. You know where you're going, you know how you're going to get there, and you're focused. But then the fun part is you start to invite people to join you, and the more hands make lighter work. So before you know it, you've got this boulder and you've got people helping to push this boulder up the hill. It's not the 100th push that gets that boulder over the hill. I mean, it is, but it's all that consistent activity that compounded to create momentum so that then when it was the right time and you had the right team and you yourself had grown into be the right leader, because this is the thing, if you don't lead you well, you will lead others wrong. It's just a matter of fact. That's not my quote. I wish I could steal it. That's my friend, Amy Nelson. She's an amazing leadership coach and a mentor of mine and somebody I love. And she constantly rings that in my ear. If I lead me wrong, I will lead others wrong too. But if I lead me well, then I will lead others well. And that means your consistency with your products. Don't miss your products. Your subscription. Make sure you're commission qualified. Like I'm talking to leaders. Y'all already know this, right? Personal activity, personal business. Move your body, move your business. Drink your water. Do the things that you know you should be doing. But sometimes, like in the slight edge, it's so easy to do, but it's so easy to do. So choose, make that decision. You be the decider of what it's going to look like. Okay. And then what that happens in persistence is it keeps us going. Because those hands come along, we start working together, and before you know it, your momentum is exploding. That third P is for progress. This progress is what fuels your momentum. It's when we start to see results that are compounding over time. Those are small, consistent activities that add up to huge wins. So there's all these little wins along the way. Take a second and recognize that. There's two different types of mindsets that I see a lot in people. There's the winning mindset and there's the losing mindset. Now, a winning mindset is a winner. You're a winner. You're all on this call and you are a winner. Occasionally, you might lose. Once in a while, you will. You will lose, but you will learn. And that does not dictate that you're a failure or that what you did failed. It was just an opportunity for you to learn from it and to grow and move through it. But a losing mentality is that you might win occasionally, but ultimately at the end of the day, you expect to lose. You expect the other shoe to drop. You think this isn't going to work no matter what you do or what you put into it. Your expectation is that you're still going to loser. You're still going to lose. Because it goes back to what we focus on expands. So be very careful, like those plants I planted out front. What are you speaking life to? Are you building life or are you tearing it down? We can tear our own houses down too. So if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to you. Okay. So one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, what has been one of the greatest lessons that you've learned to be persistent yourself? And I'll share my answer. So the question is, what is something that has been the greatest lesson for you to learn to be persistent? For me, it's in seasons when I'm rebuilding, like right now. We are in a season of rebuilding. Now, we were in massive momentum for years. We went through COVID, we went Sapphire, and 2 months later we went Diamond. And then we have been consistently plugging along and doing the things. But I'm here to tell you what we did in 2020 is not working in 2024. It's not the same thing. We're in the business of transformations, and we need to talk more about that. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, all right? And you'll hear people talk all the time. And listen, the QVC days of like running infomercials on our Facebook pages is gone. People like, oh, they unplug. As soon as I see that, I'm like, oh, that was so 2020. You can make a post and like you get all these people to like, I need it. Not today. There's so much competing noise and there's so much stuff going on culturally in the United States and the world that we want to stand out. We want to be a light. We want to be positive and encouraging, edifying, and uplifting. So one of the challenges that I've learned is to add more value to social media than what I take away. That's my goal for 2024. I want to add massive amounts of value, because the other side is, which is really cool, your income is directly tied to the level of value that you add to others. And I'm here to tell you, if you go to my page today, it's not a Plexus infomercial. Hopefully you go to my page and you see that I love the Lord, that I'm going to Australia, I'm expanding into international markets, that I have children, that we're homeschooling, that we have a dog that just had seizures and you're trying to figure out the like natural holistic remedy for that. If there is one, I don't know. Dog mamas out there will tell me, right? You're going to see different things. In my stories, you're going to see my face more. That's another challenge. I'm not going to be running a whole lot. I'm saying this as I just ran a whole lot of slides. Because Jessica Heffley went diamond emerald. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to share that because she's my friend. I want to congratulate her. And then I want to share about what I'm looking for in brand partners. But I want to challenge you, get your face out there, authentically yourself, because you're going to attract the right people that are looking for you. So I want you to focus on the bigger picture. When you're getting crystal clear on what it is that you actually want, 10 times that. Get crystal clear on what it is you actually want, and then multiply that by 10. It's going to freak you out. It is so going to freak you out because right now you're dreaming in your budget. If you're anything like I was, I didn't actually even dream. I just lived like paycheck to paycheck. So anything outside of that was so foreign. It took me time, but you're going to practice this like a muscle. As vision carriers for your teams, you get to create momentum. But a vision carrier is somebody that has a vision, is crystal clear on what it is that they want, where they're going to go, and they share that with people. I want to encourage you, share that unapologetically. We're in a viable, legitimate business that is a global network of individuals that are spreading health, hope, and happiness worldwide. And that's a really cool thing to be a part of. And you wouldn't be on this call tonight if somebody didn't love you enough to share with you. So don't hold that gift back from someone else. As leaders, it's our responsibility to cast that vision. We can't cast a vision that we don't personally have first. So get crystal clear on what it is that you actually want. And just remember that without vision, the people will perish. They just will. They won't know where they're going. They're going to get lost in the woods. If you don't have a GPS system in your car these days and you try to get from like Florida to Tennessee, good luck. Like you might know to go up 95, but then you're going to have to get to Nashville. Like how are you going to know unless you have a map? You know what direction you're going. And along the way, don't be afraid to ask for help. Listen, don't be like our husbands and not ask for help on the map section, right? Kenny be like, I am not asking. I'm like, you're going to pull over and you're going to ask for, no, I'm not. Now we have GPS and Google and Maps and Siri. And I'm like, hey, Siri. And it can pop right up for you and gives you the direction that you need to go. You're going to get there so much faster if you have that map. So I have these last couple of questions. See, Siri is responding because she heard me talk about her. I have 3 questions for you as I get ready to close out. What does your determination look like for the vision that you have? If you were to rate that determination on a level of 1 to 10, where would you be? Are you determined? Are you committed? Or when it gets a little hard and bumpy, you're out. It's too hard. It's not for me. I can't do it. Reframe your thinking and think you can learn new things. Are you willing to ask for help? If you don't know something, could you go find it? Could you watch something? Sarah Marble was sharing on a training call recently that she said that there were seasons of her business where she was an ICU nurse. And then she went from being an ICU nurse to being a midwife, OBGYN delivery nurse. Well, she could like get a heartbeat going like nobody's business. Like she could cath somebody and do all this emergency room ICU stuff, but then put her behind somebody in labor. She was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. She had to learn the trade, the skill set, the things. And it took her not days or hours, weeks, it took her months. And then when she decided, like, hey, I'm going to do network marketing, guess what? She didn't just jump into it and think, I got this. She cloned and worked and honed in on her craft. So you couldn't go jump into like midwifery tomorrow and go deliver babies out of the blue. I guess we could if we needed to. Right. For those of us that had home births, we were like, yeah, we could. We figure it out. We could YouTube it. Like, that's what I told my husband. I said, YouTube it. How am I going to catch this baby? I don't know. You're like, we'll figure it out. YouTube is a great tool. Leverage that. You can learn things. You have amazing leaders. Don't be afraid to tap your upline. Stop waiting for them to tap you. Go up. You reach out to them and say, okay, I need a plan. And I'd like to have a roadmap. Can you help me? They're not going to not call you back. They're not going to say you're bothering them. They're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But they're probably also going to say, I'm not going to outrun you. I will match pace with you and I will run with you, but I will not outrun you and I'm not dragging you to the finish line. That's what good leaders do. Ask me, because I didn't do that at first. I'm like, oh girl, I got you. And I'm going to drag you across the finish line. I'm going to give you all the water, either you want it or you don't. And eventually people weren't actually willing to do the things that they needed to do. Personally, that was the ownership part. So today, it goes back to that determination. What level of determined are you? The second question is, what is your plan of action to accomplish the vision and the goal that you have? And I want to challenge you. It's not a 30-day goal. It's not the icy, creamy ninja thingy this month. That's great. Okay. It's like, where are you going to be end of the year? What is this going to look like next August 1st or next September 1st? When you're, are you going on that Alaskan cruise next year? 1, how determined are you to get there? 2, what's your plan of action to get there? And this is that final question. What does your accountability look like to help you get there? Do you have accountability? Sometimes that's an ugly word. We don't actually like it, but we need it. Because all too often, if we don't have accountability, we're going to just give up on ourselves way too soon. Instead of have somebody who is in our best interest, that's going to love us, walk alongside of us and support us and encourage us along the way. Because there's going to be bumps in your road. You're going to have those ups and downs. You're going to have moments where you're sore, you're tired, I'm done. I don't want to push this boulder up the mountain anymore. And then your accountability comes along and they can fuel your fire again. That's what accountability does. So those last questions, what does your determination to the vision look like? What is the plan of action to help you accomplish that goal? And what does your accountability look like to reach your goal? I can't wait to hear. Because I know in the end, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And you don't fail, you just learn. I think I stayed true on my time, BK. I was like, is that okay?
I'm thinking mic drop here, aren't you, BK? So good.
I loved every single second of that. I think you addressed like all of our businesses in 30 minutes. You saying, do you expect to lose or do you expect to win? I mean, Brenda, do you resound with that? Like in your mind, when you were working for Jewel, were you like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit Jewel. I'm going to hit Diamond.
Yes, that's exactly the thing I was going to say. Out of everything she said that was all gold and brilliant, that's the thing I remembered. What are you saying to yourself about your business, that you're winning or that you're losing? That is huge. And you ended it, Jenna, by saying it's up to you. You decide because it's in your mind. You can make the choice. I mean, that's so much what it boils down to. Besides those 3 questions, I hope you all wrote them down and you wrote answers to them. And you will apply. Yes, gold.
Yes. I hope you guys answer in your team chats wherever you're at. If you're on Brenna's team, do it there. My team, if you're on sub teams here, please do that. Message your uplines, get on a Zoom with them. They want to pray with you, talk with you, look at your points, face it all, face the good, bad, ugly with you, linked up to help you win. I love what Jenna said too. I'm just going to make mention of this. You know, she was talking even about next August. Have you thought that far ahead? You should. You should. Right now, if you're like, you know what, I'm going to start all over on August 1st. Like I'm talking about like in 2 days. Like I'm going to start, I'm just done for the month. Don't do it, because you know what? It starts right now for where you want to be August, September, October. What if you hit a certain point goal right now? Tweak your point goal so you can hit it and feel like you're winning. Do it now. And then you'll be able to sit there with your sponsor and be like, okay, I hit this in July. What do I want to hit in August? If I hit that in August by doing this, I'm going to rank up in September. I'm going to win. You guys, that's what we need to be doing for one another. Okay. That kind of vision casting. And then we go forward from there. I'm going to stop because we're going to be here all night. And Jenna is going to Australia in 2 days. So she's probably got to pack all her parkas for winter.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Everybody loved it. Everyone's once the recording, we're planning to rewatch and share with our teams. I think we could just replay this for the whole month of August for all of our team Zooms. Just replay it every time because it was so good. Wow. Thank you so much, friend.
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for giving me the honor. And truly, as your team understands, when we invite leaders to come in, we do it because we love and respect and trust what they're going to share is good stuff. So I so value you girls, and I thank you so much for trusting me to come in. And again, I hope and pray that God used something brilliant to come out. And I'm glad you got it recorded. And I have notes, so we're good.
Thank you, Jenna. You're the best. Everybody unmute yourself. Say thank you to Jenna. We love you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.